If you're still crying from last week's emotional episode, you can rest assured that tonight's episode brings a different vibe. We're finally getting back to the game of football, and boy, did they deliver. As always, I'm here to talk about it all, so let's get into it. What up, everybody? It's your boy K-Ray06 here from K-RayTV, and we are here for another All-American recap review. As always, I'm going to go through the episode, I'm going to give y'all my opinion, and of course, I'm going to give y'all the good, the bad, and the downright disrespectful. But before we do all that, if you're a supporter on the channel, and if you're new here and like what you see, or if you just rock with your boy, then hit the thumbs up as it helps on the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And also, if you want to join the best on the net, the Dream Squad, and be a part of our familia, then show some love by hitting that sub, click the noti bell, join the noti game, hit all, and share like you care. It all goes a long way as we are on our way to that 10K, and I appreciate it all. Now, that is done, let's get into this review. Episode 10, titled Put Up or Shut Up, starts off with Jordan and Asher conversing about the repercussions of JJ, yes, I said it, JJ, winning Homecoming King. As you know, JJ is the life of the party, but bestowing him the crown as king has made that micro beaded sized head of his even bigger as he walks into the spot donning his new adornment as he comes in glowing. Spencer also comes in with Chris, and to much surprise, he did not win Homecoming King like JJ, but Chris actually got the dub. Like, this surprised me because we never even got a speech from Chris. Like, hell, he wasn't even in the episode when a name was announced. Like, when the names were announced. Like, I guess this was the writer's way of saying, like, my bad or something, because I thought for sure Coop or Spencer would have won. But Chris, nah, nah. But, I digress. Anywho, Chris thinks it's corny to wear the crown after the dance, the one we didn't get to see. And as the boys laugh, and then Spencer tells Jordan, good luck with JJ. I did notice that Asher was cool at the table vibing with Spencer, and I notate that because this man acting like he couldn't even have a conversation with Liv, yet he cool with Spencer, the one who keeps stealing your woman, Mr. Steal Your Girl, like, come on, come on, man. But hey, maybe this is the episode he shows growth, because the boy's better than me, I'll tell you that. Of course, Spencer is wondering where Liv is, but he disguises it by asking where's the ladies at, which Jordan quickly says, where's Liv at, right? I like how cool Jordan is about the relationship, because I know with him and Spencer having a brother-like relationship, oftentimes you don't want that line blurred when it comes to family dating friends who are like family, So I'm glad there's no drama there. And yes, I know they're not officially a couple, Liv and Spencer. However, we all know where this road is going. We know where this road is going, so let's stop that. But I know from a personal experience, like when I was younger, like my friends couldn't date none of my family members, like none. It was only like one person who I was like, you know what? I'm cool with you talking to someone because I respect that person in and out. So I get how Jordan sees Spencer. Like, he respects that man from the rooter to the tutor, so he doesn't care if he dates his sister or not, and I'm with it. And speaking of which, in the next scene, we get Liv at her first AA meeting since last season, and you can tell she's anxious and nervous of being there as she looks for a cookie to grab. And she's approached by Nina, a new sponsor, who was trying to bring Liv under her wing. And I can tell already that this not gonna be Liv's sponsor, because she was too pushy. She was assuming that Liv had a sponsor already, and as soon as Liv said she didn't, she lit right up and started running down her credentials. And I was like, y'all, nah, hard pass. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. We ain't doing this. Then we got our brown-eyed nurse back in the show. Yes, the nurse from season 2 who saved Spencer's life is back, and I'm already loving it, y'all. Nurse Joy is running the AA meeting, and she is not playing. She is making them fall in line and fall in line quick. You can tell that she noticed Liz and remembers her from the hospital, but she doesn't say anything, but rather start the meeting. And then we jump back over to JJ in the game as they discuss football over a game of foosball. And they're talking about the battle of the undefeated team. And JJ basically, low-key, this is Asher by saying, like, yo, it'll be easier if he had Spencer on the team. And I was like, dang, JJ, bruh. And then Asher quickly switches the subject by asking Spencer who was he playing against. And Spencer immediately says a game that no one is talking about because Crenshaw, has lost more games than they won. However, the takeaway here is when Spencer notates here that if the test scores come back good, then they'll get more players and they'll have a real chance at playoffs. So hold that little nugget for later, all right? And the next scene, we got Simone and Vaseline, and they come in dressing up, and they got Simone looking right. I'm talking about she came in with the dress, with the jacket over, with the hair and the earrings and the makeup. I'm like, yes. Like, I see why my boy Jordan nose is wide open. I see why she got him wide open. Anywho, as they start to go in, Simone's ex Dean and Cam show off. And you can tell that Simone is caught off guard. And I think this is the first time they have seen each other since season 2. And you can tell Dean is loving what he see. And, maybe starting to, slightly regret leaving Simone. Because he quickly asks how she's been, and Simone gets offended before answering and saying she's good. Before Dean gets to go into, like, how they ended, Jordan and Spencer interrupt him. And then the pissing contest comes out as Cam does his Cam thing and tries to get a rise out of Spencer by bringing up Crenshaw's record and saying it's a good thing that he transferred out of Crenshaw because he already got 4 college offers. And he turns it back on Spencer, like, how much do you have? And he leaves Spencer speechless because he ain't got nothing, as we know. And his offer got took off the table because the coach retired. And then they walk off, and the All-American logo comes onto the screen, and that's how we start the show off. I want to talk about Cam a little bit because, to me, Cam is one of those guys that has all of the potential in the world to be great, but he's too busy worried about everyone else that he doesn't really apply himself and ends up watching everybody else actually be great. Like, this is what I get from Cam. If he would actually take the time to apply himself to getting better, then he wouldn't have to switch to different schools. Like, no matter where he was at, he would have shined because of his skill base. Because remember when he went against Spencer, when he went heads up, and he was beating Spencer in some things, but when they actually start playing the game, you start seeing his weaknesses like catching and stuff. So if he was actually work on the fundamentals and stuff like that and put in the work, he'd actually be a beast out there, and he would have been an asset to Crenshaw. But, it seems like he just going to end up watching the throne. That's what seems like what's going to happen to him, but we shall see. Also, I am interested in the Dean and Simone mess because I don't know if she's ever got the closure, especially with her having his baby and giving it up. Like, and Dean was eyeing her down, like... So I want to see how that situation will play out, especially with Simone being married, though, because, that it was a lot there in that short moment. And writers, like, I know I'm giving y'all some great ideas, so go ahead and credit a brother, all right? Go ahead and credit a brother. Okay, moving on. Next, we get JJ being too extra, trying to talk to Vanessa. I don't like how simple-minded they make JJ at times. Like, he clearly oblivious to the fact that him and his homecoming king persona is not going over well with Vanessa, and she just want out of there. Like, she want to bounce, and she ends up leaving and goes to her car. Asher, eavesdropping, says one of his favorite lines, "Can I give you some friendly advice?" Like when he says that, my lips immediately get tight there. Because this man always try to offer advice that he never follows. Like, he's always living in hindsight instead of the present. Like, I ain't gonna even get in that bag, y'all, but just let me continue. So Asher wants JJ to stop trying so hard to try to get with Vanessa, and JJ wants Asher to put in a good word for him. And again, I'm eyeing down the scene like, because you know Asher is the last person to go to with anything that involves women, especially with the girl that you like that doesn't like you. Like, bruh. But to Asher's defense, he does not want to do this, but he does it for JJ anyway, which JJ like grants him knighthood for it. Like, and Asher quickly catches up to Vanessa, who must have been walking one step every 3 minutes because baby girl left a whole minute ago. And yeah, Asher called her before she even made it to the car. And Vanessa asks, does Asher need a ride home? And Asher lets her know he came over there to talk to her about JJ. And she quickly dismisses it by saying she's waiting on or for someone else. Now, y'all know, if you know me, you know where I'm going. So, a while back, this girl tried to gather Ashley by saying he doesn't know women, she knows her worth, and she just wants to be friends. But now, she is waiting on Ashley. If y'all don't get Vaseline, I tell you. Like, she really had an issue talking about, I know timely probably won't be right for us, but the us she didn't want before. And then she says the only reason they didn't kiss this summer was because of Olivia. First off, find her some new lines. I'm tired of hearing about summer. Pick a new season already. There's 4. Y'all can pick a different one. And then she continues saying, since Ashley is now single, why haven't they given in to a kiss that they're both curious about? And says, it doesn't hurt anyone. And I was like, damn. Like, I know you was not feeling JJ, but can you tell him that? Instead of using him for free food and as a locator spell to keep dibs on Asher? Like, come on. I am not here for Ashy, Vaseline, and JJ love triangle. So CW, I'ma gather you if you keep forcing this molded, dusty, expired storyline onto me, my TV screen, and my life. Anywho, Asher goes in for a kiss and then stops and says, it would hurt someone. And Vanessa immediately gets tight. Like, I'm talking about high blood pressure from all that salt. And she like, it's cool. Someday we'll get this bad timing worked out. And I was cracking up. I was like, girl. I'm like, did I hear Jasmine Sullivan playing in the background? Because your face was all over the floor along with them feelings. Like, you pick them up, Vaseline, pick them up, and then get off my screen. And then Ashy, for once, you did the right thing. I'm surprised by it, and I'm actually low-key proud. Like, maybe one day you can earn your name back. Maybe. But until then, Ashy, it is. And next scene, we get Nina going over her sponsor accolades, and I'm already over it. And once she has sat down, Nurse Joy asks if anyone wants to say something. And of course, by anyone, she means Liv. And of course, Liv, aka Cookie, your sister just chewing on that cookie like it was Spencer flavor. Like, girl, put that cookie down and tell your story. Like, the writers ain't gonna give you time to actually address your issues. So take your moment, girl, because you might not get another one. And of course she doesn't in the meeting. And after it ends, Liv approaches Nurse Joy and asks does she remember her. And of course she does. And Liv lets her know, she had a relapse and she didn't want to go to another Beverly Hill rehab center. And this was the best choice for her recovery. And Nurse Joy do not want to hear none of that. Like, she lets her know it doesn't matter where she go if she doesn't put in the work by participating. And she just let her leave with that. Here you go. Take that with you. Take that with you. Liv then goes outside to meet her mom, who attended a meeting as well to better be able to support her daughter Liv. And I appreciate that. She following through on her commitment to her daughter, and I love it. I love it. I was wondering where Billy was, but I'm not going to get on his neck because he's not there. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume, maybe he was parking the car or something. They talk about Nina and how Liv does not want her as a sponsor, and how she doesn't want to fall into the same routine like she did with Leslie when they were friends. She needs a more stern sponsor, and you know where this is headed. Like, we all know where this is headed. The only stern one in there with the fine brown eyes is Nurse Joy, so we already predicted that. But, go ahead. The next morning, Spencer wakes up to some cereal and OJ and another Mama Grace pep talk. He is concerned about not making the playoffs and letting his team and Crenshaw down. But Grace is like, hey, prove them wrong and make the playoffs. Like, simple put, simple advice. Like, all right, move on. Next, we get fine old Mo making her return on screen. And she goes to Coop to drop off some papers for patients. And Coop is still not rocking with Mo. And it's for good reason, because I know she up to something but can't figure it out yet. But Coop is sticking to her guns and like, hey, that's all she got left now. So, let her have it. She either going to be wrong about Mo or she going to be right about Mo. But either way, a bullet may still be in her future. But, we shall see. Jumping into the next scene, we get JJ following up with Ashley about his talk with Vaseline. And Ashley lets him know that Vaseline is not into him and she wants someone else. And JJ immediately pointed out the obvious that, Vaseline wanted Ashley. And he asked how close did they get during the summer and if something happened with them that night. And Ashley says almost, but no. And JJ hemmed him up, just and then said the dumbest thing, talking about Ashley was stealing his girl. Like, my guy, she is not your girl. She never wanted you. And ultimately, you played yourself. Yes, Vaseline shouldn't have been leading you on, but you ignore all signs that was right in front of you. She does not want you, and Ashley did nothing wrong in this instance. Like, I'm actually on Ashley's side. Like, I know, crazy, but I am. Ashley did right by JJ and has nothing to feel bad about. Crazy, right? Next scene, we get Spencer meeting up with Billy, getting the test results from members of the team, and of course they pass and are eligible to play on the game, making Crenshaw that much stronger. Not only that, Billy got 8 out of 9 college coaches to come out to watch Spencer play, so he needs Spencer to play great. Spencer's doubting himself, but Billy lets him know that his dad was in a similar position that he was in before, but in his homecoming game, that man set a record of 7 touchdowns in one game. And if Spencer plays great, he'll go down in history as well. Also, he has something planned so that everyone remembers Corey James during the game. So I was excited to see, what he had in store. Next scene, we got Coop dropping off paperwork to Layla for patience. And it's the last thing that she needs to get her off JP's label. Coop ends up doing what Coop does best after seeing JP. And that's drop hints and run. She mentions that JP has no choice of letting patients join the tour, but then runs out as Layla was like, yo, am I missing something? Of course, we all know what she was referring to, which is JP sleeping with his artist. But, Coop needs to stop stirring the pot if she's not going to serve the dish. Like, I don't know, y'all. Like, Coop is starting to irk me every second she's on the screen. Like, is it just me? Like, am I just tripping? Like, let me know in the comments below, because she irking me, y'all. She irking me. Next scene, we get Billy returning to his old stomping grounds at Beverly Hill High School to see Jordan, to give him the word that the head coach from my state, Arizona, is coming to see him. This is one of the 9 coaches that Billy tried to get to come to see Spencer, but they said no because they wanted to see Jordan play, and Coach Montez put in a word. Coach Montez comes out to greet Billy and lets him know that him letting Jordan know that the coach was coming could ruin his game by making him play tense and conservative. And I actually agree with her. Like, Billy is not the coach anymore, so he needs to step aside and let Montez do her job, because she is turning Jordan actually into a better player. So fall back, Billy, and worry about Crenshaw because she got it handled. So know your place, know your role, know your role. Next, we get an interesting scene as Liv is back in her AA meeting, and this time she's sharing. She says the only reason she took a drink is because she felt like everyone was leaving her and that she didn't matter to them, even though she was there for everyone else. And I was giving Liv and them writers the same look Nurse Joy was giving Liv, because that was a load of crap. Like, her issues was much more deeper rooted than that, and she basically put the blame or the cause of her relapse on everyone else. When no one put that drink to your mouth, girl, you did it. So I was glad Nurse Joy called her out, because Dusty Nina was trying to hype Liv's dusty confession all the way up, and Nurse Joy pulled the plug on that parade real quick. She let Liv know that addiction is an illness and that she was going to drink anyway. Liv needs to take responsibility for her relapse, and if not, again, she is wasting her time. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. I get people may be mad because she's being a little harsh to Liv, but she's not there to coddle Liv. She is there to help Liv. Liv needs to hear the truth, straight, raw, uncut, and uncensored, not watered down and given by yes men. So I was very much okay by how she came across, because sometimes tough love is the only way people can get the point, and Liv needs all the tough love right now because she always makes excuses. Next scene, we get the same face Coop and my boo Kia eating lunch talking about Mo yet again. And Coop doesn't trust her, and everyone else does. Kia states that everyone has a past and people can change, and that Coop is profiling Mo, and that needs to stop, because we as in black people already get enough of this to be doing it to one another. And that there, my friends, was a message, because it is true. However, I don't trust Mo, so somebody needs to keep an eye on her, because she clearly up to something. Like, I can smell it. Next scene, we get a speech from Billy and the Crenshaw team as he pumps them up from the game. It wasn't really anything here to take away from this scene, except for, they had to win the game or it's going to be game over. Like, they can't lose any game. Next, we hop right into the games of both Beverly versus Westgate and Crenshaw versus Hawthorne. And Jordan calls heads and takes the ball. And over at Crenshaw, we got Nani opening up the game with a horrible kick, which leads to a other team scoring a touchdown. Beverly, on the other hand, lands a touchdown as Jordan throws a perfect pass, right into the end zone, and looks at D and lets him know, like, yo, this gonna be all night. You're gonna be eating this up all night. And back at Crenshaw, Nani apologized about the kick, and Billy boy showed no sympathy. That man said, we both know what you can do. Next time, try kicking the ball straight. I was like, dang, savage much? But I get it. You can't coddle right now. The game must go on. So, do better next time. We jump back over to same face Coop, and who is not at the game. And she's approached by Layla because Layla ain't having it. She want to finish the conversation about her dad. Layla is tired of being lied to, and she just wants the truth. So she approaches Coop, and she's like, yo, give me all of it. Give me all of it. Then we jump back over to the game, and Spencer's getting shut down on the field. And you know that little dusty sad face he be doing when, he do all the time when he not saving a day? That's what he was doing, and Billy had to get on and tell him, like, you playing too tentative, and had to remind him, yo, you got 8 coaches in the stands. They out there, they watching you, so you got to be great. And over at Beverly, JJ is still salty at Ashley, and that man is not following the plays. This man is running his own route, and this basically leads to a touchdown by Hawthorne. And Ashley gets in his neck about not ruining the game because he was mad at him. And I'm like, look at you trying to get your name back, Ashley. Look at you. Okay, you keep doing this, you might get somewhere. You might get somewhere. You might get Ash. You know what I'm saying? I might take out the Y. You know what I'm saying? I might take out the E in Ashley. You keep this up, go ahead. Back at Crenshaw, Billy gives a speech about Corey James at halftime. And he lets everybody know that, Corey set the record of 7 touchdowns in one game, and how he inspired him as a player on and off the field, and that his number 5 jersey will be retired and his number will be placed on the field. Then he says that Corey's record is not the only legacy he left behind, hinting at Spencer James. And while I found this moment amazing, it was kind of bittersweet to me because Darnell was nowhere to be found. Like, Darnell should have been in this episode and on the field to share this moment. Like, that was his dad too. So I wish he would have gotten that much. Like, it just made the moment a little watered down to me because Darnell should have been there. But, you know, hey, you know, I guess he out there making money doing different shows, you know. Moving on, we get back into the game, and Spencer now got the glow, immediately getting a touchdown, and Nani kicks a perfect field goal this time. And then in perfect montage fashion, Spencer is putting on a clinic. I'm talking about with catches, yards, and touchdown. Like, this man cannot be stopped. He is on fire. And over at Beverly, Jordan's about to throw the ball, and then Dean hits him from behind and puts him down. Bow, hit him with a hard one. And what I forgot to mention earlier, when JJ was getting into it with Ashley, he ends up slamming the locker when he leaves, and you can see that Jordan's head is killing him, so his concussion problems are still there. And when he got hit by number 22 Dean, he is down for the count. And I know this one move will play a big part into Jordan's future as a player and his role on the show, so I wanted to go back and address that. Jumping back to Crenshaw, Chris let Spencer know that he just tied the record with his dad with 7 touchdowns in one game. And while I would think that he would be excited, Spencer does the complete opposite. Like, this man goes over to Billy and asks to be taken out of the game. I get that the score was 49-25 with Crenshaw up. However, y'all barely been winning games, and you trying to be taken out because you don't want to break your daddy's record? I'm going to need you to have several seats, sir. Like, this man is extra dramatic. Like, everyone knows if Corey was there, he would want his son to be the one to beat his record, no one else. But you know how Spencer is. You know how Spencer is. He listens when he wants to listen, and this man became a part of Boys to Men as he got on bended knees on the field. Instead of breaking the record, he wanted to share the record with his pops. And I know some of y'all out there like, Spencer, you the man for that. However, I am not. Spencer be doing too much. Like, so you want to share the record so someone else can come and beat both of y'all records in the future instead of cementing the James name as the one that set and broke the record and set a new one. Corey got his number on the field, his jersey's retired, he just got a speech, and hell, before today, you didn't even know the record existed, and you attend Crenshaw, Mr. Resource? So this part irked me. It irked me, y'all, because I feel like Spencer be too dramatic sometimes. And while I love Boys to Men, I was not trying to hear them in that moment. Like, first we got Cookie at her AA meeting, like, not sharing, and then sharing and not taking blame. And then we get bended knees being extra. Like, bruh, I can't make this stuff up. I can't. Anywho, as the game concludes, Billy gets a call about Jordan, and they rush to the hospital. I did like that Spencer rushed right into Liv's arms. I did like that. And did I mention Liv was looking like a snack with the double braids and the stomach showing? Girl, whoo! Let me focus though. Let me focus. Liv sees Nurse Joy and she thinks she's stalking her. And after she's informed by Jordan, Nurse Joy springs into action and she's like, yo, I'll find out what I can. And then she gives Liv a look like this girl can't catch a break. Like, I think this is the moment where, in her mind, she was like, yo, I'm gonna be her sponsor. I'm gonna help her out. Because Liv could be on the track again to relapsing again due to her surrounding circumstances. Like, Liv enters the room to see her twin unconscious, and I know that was tough. So getting a sponsor for her needed to be ASAP. This girl can't catch no break. Next is a scene most people are talking about. And I already got into a discussion about this particular part of who was right and who was wrong. And one person even said they was going to come gather me because I didn't have my thoughts put together yet. Well, my thoughts are gathered now, so let's go ahead and discuss it. Everyone is waiting around in the waiting room for the doctor to come and inform them about Jordan and his situation. And Laura has a list of questions she wants to ask already queued up. And as soon as the doctor comes, Laura starts firing off questions back to back, bow, 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 not letting the doctor fully answer one question. And one of her questions was, did they check for a second impact syndrome because Jordan had a concussion before? And Billy jumps in and says, that's really rare. And Laura snaps at him, and says, I didn't ask if that was common. I was like, yikes, yikes. All while Simone is sitting there frustrated because she is worried about Jordan as well, but can't get any answers due to Laura firing out questions so rapidly. And this is where Simone asks the doctor if she can speak with him privately, and Laura gets offended and immediately dismisses Simone, saying she is the mother and Simone is a friend. Not the girlfriend, a friend, and that she allowed her to be there, but she can go home now, and she'll call her for updates. Anything changes. Now, let's stop here. I want y'all to rewind this part. And as soon as Simone says, Laura's asking too many questions, you can see Billy's face, and this man is like, oh no, this is about to go down. And when Laura calls Simone a friend, you can see that hit hard on Simone. And I was like, oh no, this is about to go down. Because now two people who just want Jordan to be okay are both on a defensive, and boy, the claws is about to come out. And Simone comes out swinging. She drops a bomb on him, which, I predicted. And she said Jordan and her are married and wife trumps parent. And all she wants to know is about Jordan's condition, and she ain't having nothing else. Mic drop, ooh, oh, snaps. All right. So let's dissect this a little bit. Who was wrong? Who was right? I say both of them were wrong. Hear me out. Laura was in a panic mode, as one would be in a situation. However, she was unwilling to hear anything anyone says, not even Billy. A cooler head would have prevailed, yes, but she was riled up so tight, like how Billy was with the Liv situation. But unlike Billy, she didn't want to listen to anything anyone says. See, when Billy was acting crazy, Laura reined him in. But when Billy made a remark, she wasn't hearing it. Now, Simone asking to speak to the doctor in private was right and wrong. She should have waited until Laura was done and then approached the doctor on her own to speak to her private. But however, since she was frustrated, she asked him right there in that moment. Now, Laura was wrong for dismissing Simone, for calling her a friend and saying, I allowed you to even be here. I know you're worried about your son, but everybody's there for Jordan. Everybody cares for your son, and you made Simone feel like crap for trying to be there for your son. That was wrong. And then to say, I will call you and give you updates. Come on, Laura. Come on now. Now, Simone was wrong about how she said everything she said. She has had a bad way of stating her truth. First time with Liv in Vegas, and now here with Laura. She starts off by saying, she's not going anywhere, and then says, you are his mother, and she respects that. But, as we all know, but erases everything said prior. And she says, but wife trumps parent in this situation. And then she doesn't stop there. Then she declares that Jordan and her are married, and all she wants to do is get an update on her husband. Is that okay? I found how she said it disrespectful, not what she said. What she said was true. Laura wouldn't be quiet for half a second to let them find out anything, so Simone had the right to feel some way about it. It was just delivered wrong, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, that's Jordan's mom, your mother-in-law, and I know if I was Liv, I would have been like, yo, you better chill out. That's still my mom, and my hands still work. But hey, I digress. Like maybe Laura just like getting verbally drugged because Layla did it to her in season 2 and now Simone in season 3. Like Laura need to spend some time in Crenshaw because she stay getting drugged in them streets. Anywho, moving on, we pick back up with Billy in the room with Jordan and Liv and Spencer's outside, and Liv is like pacing back and forth because she know like yo, she is in trouble. And Spencer quickly says he has her back before Laura comes. And Laura on 10 came a walking and she got right into the questions like, yo, did you know about this? And Spencer and Liv both let them know that they knew about it and that they were witnesses. And Laura's mad because she was lied to, and before she can dig deeper in Liv's neck, they're interrupted by Simone, who says that the doctor's optimistic about Jordan. And Laura snaps on Simone like, based on what? And Simone replies saying, based on his expertise. Whoo. And then she asks, everyone's okay, and Laura's still pissed, but Simone wants her, if mad, to be mad at her and no one else. And Laura says, yes, I am mad, but she will deal with their so-called marriage later, but right now Jordan is priority number 1. Again, Simone is cut down with the so-called marriage remark, and I'm starting to catch a vibe. Like, where's Scully from Snowfall when you need him? Because, yo, it's a vibe in the air. We jump back over to Dusty Same-Face Coop as she's at a rally for a black girl, Tamika, who was murdered, and Coop is questioning why Mo is there. And Kia lets her know that Mo is representing the family, and after a quick speech from Mo about profiling, Coop is now on board to stop profiling Mo and how it needs to stop. And I'm like, moving on. Not forgetting about Layla. Layla confronts her dad about Lil Jewel and Patience. Layla is disgusted about his action, about sleeping with his artist and a married woman, and she sees a pattern in his behavior, but JP sees nothing wrong with it. And Layla feels like maybe her parenting herself and JP being on the road and never being around was a better arrangement. Layla even drops a bomb on him by saying, like, if another producer treated her that way, would he be okay with it? And man, y'all, I am not feeling this new JP. Y'all, I'm going to need the old one back because this 5 heartbeat Eddie Kane Jr. version of JP is not working for me. It is not working for me. But again, I digress. We return back to the hospital to see Jordan wake up to see his wife, and she informs him that, the family now knows everything. Everything. They come in and Jordan apologizes, but they're so happy that he's up that, they dismiss, the claims for now. And you see Simone actually sitting in the back, like giving another face. And y'all, like, I don't think Jamone is going to last. Like, Simone got hurt tonight and excluded, and now she's standing on the outside of her husband and his family, which should have been her family. And this probably giving her flashbacks, of her son that she gave away, the closure she never got with Dean, the family she could have had. Like all I know is like she's feeling alone right now, and she might do something drastic because she's hurt. But let's just hold on to that and let me know what y'all think about that situation and that look that she actually gave. Like, hit that in the comments. We jump back over to Same Face Coop, and she apologizes to Mo and say, are we good? And then walks off. I was waiting for Mo to do that traditional, evil grin that they do when they walking off, and you just. But instead, somebody approaches Mo and said, "What was that all about?" And she says she finally let her guard down, and like we all said, Coop dumb and Mo been up to something. We hop back over to the hospital that Jordan lied about passing this concussion protocol, and he has been having symptoms, but he just wanted to play football. And Laura asked with an accusing tone if Simone knew about it, and Simone says she only found out today. And again, Laura is chopping Simone down and I feel like this is going to play a big part in their breakup. Nurse Joy finds Liv and informs her about her brother and asks her, did she find a sponsor? And yes, and Liv says yes. And even though she acts like she didn't want to, she ends up agreeing. Now, I found it strange that they were at the same hospital that Spencer was brought to when he got shot, yet no one mentions it. Like, neither Joy or Liv. Like, you would think her PTSD would be addressed, but it seems like they don't care when it comes to Liv. So I think I'm done bringing it up because this was a fine opportunity to address a little bit of it, just a little bit. And I know y'all were working on time, but y'all could at least gave us a flashback, have them bring it up or something, but whatever. They don't care, so I'm tired of talking about it. Next scene, we got Grace talking to Spencer about his game and about his 7, which should have been 8 touchdowns, and informs him that all 8 coaches want to visit him. And Spencer's happy about that, and she lets him know that God has a plan for him. And I always love those Mama Grace moments. I know some of y'all be in the comments trying to disrespect Mama Grace and not trying to elevate her name, but you know Mama Grace is the best parent on here, so let's not do that. Let's not disrespect that. All right, and then we jump back to Jordan for the final scene, and he informs everyone what the doctor told him, that, you know, he possibly can't play football anymore, and Jordan is shooken about it, and then the episode goes off. Now, I would say this episode didn't match the bar they set last episode, but yeah, it was okay. It wasn't bad. But with that said, let's just dive right into the good, the bad, and the downright disrespectful. The good, Nurse Joy. She came back, and she came back not playing nobody's game. Like, I love that she is tough on Liv and wants Liv to get real healing. No one else is doing that. So I am glad that she has someone there to actually push her there, to, you know, address the things that matter. So Nurse Joy, you are on the good list. Also, another thing, we got kids raising their GPAs and, you know, are able to play football. And I know that's a small thing to some people, and the people gloss over it, but, you know, seeing kids from the Black community studying and upping their grades, and, you know, they get rewarded to play a sport that they should have been able to play in the first place, but them upping their grades and getting them higher is a good thing. And, you know, it's going to show old soap opera villain that, you know, these kids are smarter than what you give them credit for. So I like that. The bad, Spencer and that record. I'm sorry, y'all. This man was doing too much and being extra dramatic, and I wasn't here for it at all. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that man could have ran a touchdown and broke the dang record, and you could have shared that with your father because both of y'all broke the record. Whatever. Oh, Simone and Laura are both on my bad list, you know, for both of their roles in the disrespect that took place in the hospital. Like, both of them were trying to do the right thing, but they both came off very wrong, at least to me. While certain people might say, you know, Simone was all the way wrong and Laura's the parent and, you know, she does right. I say both of them was wrong and how they addressed it and how they handled it. So, hey, they on my bad list. Now, the disrespectful. Now, y'all already know JJ and Vaseline. JJ and Vaseline both make this list. JJ for being ignorant, like, you know Vaseline don't like you, has never liked you, and yet you mad for what? What you mad for? You did this to yourself, bruh. Sorry to say it, but, well, come on, man. You got to be more than just a simple jock. Like, we got to do better. And Vaseline, this girl so flip-floppity. Like, do you know your worth or not? Like, you want to be friends or more? Like, figure it out during the breaks or while they're not filming, because I'm tired of hearing about this summer. I'm tired of seeing you on screen, and I'm tired of seeing this broke back storyline. Like, let it rest in a sunken place where it belongs. Please. And I forgot to mention, let's go ahead and throw Ashley on that good list, because Ashley did nothing wrong this episode. Ashley stood up for JJ and he didn't kiss that heifer. And then he got abused and shooken up for it. And then even then was still telling JJ, hey, don't mess up this game because you mad at me. Get right. So I forgot. Ashley, get on the good list. Get on the good list. You on there as well. All right. I hope you enjoyed my recap review this episode. If you did, hit that like button, smash that sub. If you want to become a part of the best squad on the net, click that noti bell, hit all, and share like you care. And we'll see you in the next episode. All right? Take care. Peace. You just come running by.